Hello there, welcome to the inaugural pressSIGN questions and answer sessions. If you are attending here, thanks for coming along. My name's Phil Binks, I'm from Bodoni, North America. If you are attending, please leave a note in the comments of your name. That would be great to see who's here. And I'm here to answer some questions regarding the latest version of pressSIGN, which is 10.2 at this particular moment. So we'll be going through some of those questions, and I'll be answering several things here today. So the first thing that we'll be covering will be the way to install the updates. So installing updates, some of the rules regarding that, how you know that there's even an update available for you on pressSIGN. So we'll be covering that area in the first segment. I've got a recorded version of me actually doing a live update as well to show you, so you can follow along very easily. Then we'll be showing you how to back up your data. So one of the big issues with pressSIGN is that if you are updating, you need to back up your data in the first instance, just for safety's sake anyway. And it's always a good idea. I get quite a lot of calls from people who have somehow lost their data, or they've needed to do an update, or their hard drive has gone down and they're not generally backing up their pressSIGN machine. So of course backup is always one of those safety features, but you can actually back up your pressSIGN database so that you don't lose your settings, your press settings, your color bars, and your jobs. And it's all done very easily. You can do it manually, and you can set up an automated method. I'll be showing you that. And then thirdly, one of the new features in pressSIGN 10.2 is a directed color measurement option, where you can specifically specify which spot color you are measuring in the window. So if you've got a spot color which is maybe, let's say, a red, and you also have a CMYK job on, how does pressSIGN know that that's not a magenta and yellow overprint if your red is very close to that particular potential color from the magenta yellow overprint? Well, we've got a new way now of actually defining to pressSIGN that you are measuring a particular spot color. So hopefully I'll be able to show you that in the future. So thanks for coming along and saying hi. If you want to comment at any point, please do, and I'll see if at the end if I can answer any particular questions. If there are any posed here, then we'll do that. So without further ado, let's head into the show. So here we have pressSIGN, and we've got it showing so that you can see the whole screen there, hopefully. The way that we would update pressSIGN, in fact, what I'm going to do is move on to the next screen so I can actually show you the way that we would actually update pressSIGN here. So let me just go through a couple of things for you. Bear with me 1 second. So I'm back with you now just for the second. But if you want to update to pressSIGN 10.2, you've probably got pressSIGN 10 already. So it's a free update. If you're running pressSIGN 10 already, this is a free update. If you're running the pressSIGN Global Print Management version, then you are always running the latest version, hopefully. So that's one thing to note. If you need to update from pressSIGN 9 or any of the previous versions, please contact me either in the comments or directly at the end of this, and we'll be able to get you through to updating to pressSIGN 10. The features in pressSIGN 10 are far and away way different and way better than they were in pressSIGN 9 and previous versions. Let me just close this screen down behind me just With a bit of luck, that will be fine. So pressSIGN 10.2, the update. If you see that application icon, then that icon there is the one that shows that you have an update available for your version of pressSIGN. That application icon appears to the right of the other icons in the pressSIGN interface window. So at the top of the screen on the right hand side, you'll see that update icon arrive. In order for that to happen, your computer needs to be connected to the internet, because that's the only way that it can then ask the pressSIGN server if there is an update available. If your computer is not connected to the internet regularly, or for any period of time, then you'll just simply not be updated. So you need to have your pressSIGN server computer at least connected to the internet. pressSIGN automatically downloads the updates for you. So these come straight to your computer directly in the background. You won't actually see that update icon until the update has been fully downloaded to your computer. So that's something well worth keeping in mind. When you are updating your pressSIGN setups, generally speaking, you'd need to update the server first. Now, what I mean by that is the server computer can have both the client and the server on it. You can update that computer. So whichever the server computer is, you need to update that one first before you then try to update any remote clients that you might have connected to that single server. As I've said, update all other clients. And if you've got any further instructions or requirements, firstly, you can come back to this video, which will be on YouTube. But I've also done other videos showing the update process and what is involved, including downloading it from the pressSIGN website should you need to do that. Okay, so I'm now going to show a little quick movie of me providing and operating that update. So here we are. So here you see we've got the update button along the row of normal icons for each of the windows in pressSIGN. If this arrives, then you know that pressSIGN has already pre-downloaded the next update. It's on your computer all ready for you to install. So simply click that update button. It tells you about the version number and some of the features that have been added or fixed. And here we see it says pressSIGN server. If you are updating a computer with the pressSIGN server on it, it will always say that. Otherwise it would say pressSIGN client. You can have the pressSIGN client and server on the same machine, in which case it will simply say pressSIGN server. Click that, and you'll see here now that we've got install the pressSIGN client box and install the pressSIGN server box. In this situation, it doesn't actually matter which one you install first, so I'm going to click the front one, which is the client in this situation. You need to enter your password for your computer. And it's very quickly installed on the client side. Bit more work on the server side. Click continue, install, enter your computer password. And then we come up with this window where we can see the connection status. So it says 32 connections. This is very dependent upon how many people are connecting to pressSIGN. If you've got just one or two, then 32 is perfectly okay. This relates to the number of windows open and the clients that are being used. The default port status, which is the one below that, you should really leave that at 5432 if you possibly can. That is the default setting, but if you need to change the default port number for outgoing pressSIGN synchronization, you can change that number. You can allocate a certain amount of memory space on your hard drives to the database, and then we can see the route to the data server folder. So that can be changed if you need to. If you don't need to change any of that, please just leave it as it is default. You can also use your own PNG file, which would then come up as an icon on your pressSIGN PDF report. So that's well worth doing as well. Click Start once you've done all those things and check them over. And one more time we enter the password for the computer. It updates the database, stops it, restarts it, initializes it, and you'll find that it completes normally pretty quickly. Depends on the size of your existing database. Click OK, and we're in the final stages now. This was successful, and we can click Close and simply launch pressSIGN once more. And we can see there it says 1034. Nothing will have changed in terms of the username and password, so you'll just be able to move on and use pressSIGN with the updates applied already. If you want to check your version, you can simply roll to the top of the screen and it will tell you the build number of pressSIGN. You can also go to the File menu, About pressSIGN, and it will tell you there as well. So that's how you can update your pressSIGN software. Hopefully that was informative enough. As I said, if you need to know more, there are the other videos on the pressSIGN on the Bodoni North America site where you are now that you can actually go and have a look at for more information. Okay, so thanks for attending this. It's great to see you here, and I am planning to do this every month if I can. If I get enough questions and there's enough interest, then I'll be carrying on with this show, and we'll be looking at answering just general color management questions as well as pressSIGN questions. So if you have any color management questions relating to G7 production, anything like that, even just normal inkjet color, even going into the realms of video color production, you can ask away here, because I've been in the color management industry now for, well, since 1995. We're now in 2021, so you can do the maths yourself. So it's something that I'm very interested in. I've got a lot of experience in all of those realms of color management. So if you need to call me or contact me as well, that would be great. I'd love to hear from you if you've got any questions there. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to move into how you can back up your pressSIGN database, because this is very important. I know I've just shown you how to know that there is an update available, but I'd always recommend backing up your data before you run any update anyhow. So there's several ways that you can do it, and there's a couple of hidden ways that you really wouldn't necessarily know how to do this. So let's dive straight into the sharing screen option here, and what we have is pressSIGN, and if I can I'll just remove that option here. One of the ways, the first way you would do it is you would go into your file menu. Now I'm on a Mac, so it may be a different area that you find your preferences, but it's this preferences. No, it isn't. It's the backup and restore under the file menu that I want you to go to first. And this actually offers quite a few little options for you. So let's just go to backup and restore. Let's just see if I can bring myself in as a sitting head, and it looks like I can. That's quite good. Okay, so this backup and restore option that you see here, has quite a few little different buttons on it. This window, this area of the window here, shows my previous backups that are available for me. So it just lists the backups that I've still got on my hard drive. If I've gone and manually deleted those, then they don't show up any longer, which is why I've now only got to, I did a bit of a purge, because I don't see the point in keeping anything really older than 2 or 3 months. Anyway, these are the list of the older backups that I could restore my pressSIGN to. So if I found that I'd lost some jobs or some data, I can actually just click on this restore button and it will restore back to the version that I had stored on that particular day. And it gives you an idea of the size as well. However, let's go through some of the options that are on this screen. The first one says rebuild. And it's if you're having problems with the database, maybe there's something a little bit sticky on it, or maybe it's running a bit slow, you can actually click on that rebuild button and pressSIGN will rebuild the database and maybe get rid of some of the glitches that you have. So that's worth running if you want to just tighten up the database. Next to that is something that's quite related to it in a way, and that's the trim button. If I click on the trim button, it brings up another dialog box and it says remove settings that are not used in any jobs. So you might find that as time has gone on, you've got settings, the clients, you might have templates and things like that, that you may have even deleted the older jobs, but those settings still stay in your database and they're clogging it up. So you can go and literally select which options you want to delete. Now this is, remember, this is removing settings that are not used in any jobs. So if you've got a press that you were practicing with and now you've got no jobs in there that you were practicing with, that kind of thing, you can just tighten up the database by doing a trim. And you can, if you want to, if you really want to be brave about it, click on the all and then hit the start button, and pressSIGN will then run through a job and you'll get this taskbar running along here as it deletes, essentially clears out the old unused settings that you might have. So it's well worth doing again. So both of these are likely to at least help work a better and faster database for you. Now, you've got a backup button. So if you click on the backup button, pressSIGN will start to create a new backup of your database, dated and timed at the time that you've done that backup. The file type is a TAR file, and they are stored on your computer, and the storage area, the address of the storage is listed in this area. Now by default it will go into the user's documents pressSIGN server backups folder, but you can browse to any new location, and if you want to be really good about it, obviously what you might do is you might put it on a networked drive somewhere else for safekeeping, just in case that local hard drive goes down. So that's one thing that you can do as well. If we go to the archive button, I'll click it and just show you what it says. It says archiving will decrease your database size by deleting the old data for a selected period. So you can go for a custom date, and you can click on this and it will show you a date and years, and so that's a from date essentially to an end date. Or you might say, well, I actually want to remove everything from 2011, and if I do that, let's watch what happens. It says, are you sure you want to continue? 12 jobs will be archived for the selected period. If I click on OK, then pressSIGN processes that archiving and removes those 2011 readings from my database. And it says the archive has been successful, and I'll click OK. I can delete files here, of course, if I want to, or I can restore from this dialog box as well. So the backup restore, let me just show you it once more. It's File, Backup Restore. That's where it is. Okay. So now if I went to my Open Job button to look at the database, I will find that if I select, I've got nothing from 2011. Okay, they've all been removed. Okay, let's just close that. However, don't worry too much, but the way that you can get back to them is if you log out of pressSIGN. So I'm going to go to File, Log Out. And now what you might find is that I hope I can do this. It looks like I've got a shift key pressed. Let's make sure that it's not. And I'm going to try and log in. And that's logging me in. Give me 1 second. Let me log out one more time. This is live, so what was going to happen there, I hoped. Yes, so in the pressSIGN server area, I can select pressSIGN Pro, which is my normal entity showing me my current database. But look below it, I can actually access the 2011 database by going to the option below, because this is where it now lists the previously archived databases. So I can always access my older data if I want to. Okay, so that's where I just wanted to show you that that's actually likely to be able to happen. Let me log in one more time. That's good, isn't it? I think it's because it thinks my caps lock is on for some reason. Excuse me a minute, the world of live. Bum, 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 bum. Let me in. It's let me in now. I can close the window. Okay, good. So that's your first way that you can do a backup and restore. The second way is where you might have a server monitor. Now, how do you might not even know about the server monitor. So let me go to the, let me just go into the other windows on this computer and I'll go back to there. Now, in pressSIGN, if I go to new find a window, you might or might not know this, but in the applications folder, we have pressSIGN, and pressSIGN doesn't sit on its own. It actually sits in a folder. So here's the folder of pressSIGN. I'll just double click it to open it so you don't get distracted by the other bits in there. In the pressSIGN folder, which is in the applications folder, you've got pressSIGN 10 and pressSIGN server. And there's also this app called the Server Monitor app. And you can run that if you want to, just to see if the server is running properly. So it's a good thing to actually operate and look at if you want to. But it has another backup feature. So let me just double click it to launch it. Let me have a see if it is on the other screen. This is great live, isn't it? Okay, why is my server monitor not showing up? So let me have a look. I ran it this morning. It's there. So show me a window. File. Let me quit it and I'll go back to it. So give me 1 second. Bum, 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 file. So I'm just going to go back into the pressSIGN folder. Launch it. This is what I wanted. Sorry about that. Typical. So I'll just move that kind of out of the way just down there. So this is the server monitor area, and the username is your pressSIGN admin username. Okay, so I know what mine is, and it's not in caps. And then you have your pressSIGN admin user password. So you can press that, and that opens up the dialog box for the pressSIGN server monitor. So if you're running the license server, that should be green, database server should be on, and the sync server is only going to run if you have the GPM version. So don't worry if the sync server is red for you if you are running pressSIGN Pro or something that is not pressSIGN GPM. Okay, however, what we do find is that we've got the ability to let me just see if I can zoom in here. There we go. So you've got the ability to set a maintenance backup. So you can say to the maintenance system, delete any jobs that are a certain date older. So 2, 3, 10 years, whatever number of years. If you don't think you need those jobs in your database, you can get pressSIGN to automatically delete those jobs. So doing that would be by ticking that box there. And here it says, please click the update button, which is this one, to update the configuration. And that's a point I wanted to make, is that this update button is only related to the maintenance section here. So if you make any changes here, you need to click on the update button. So you can also ask pressSIGN to automatically create daily, weekly or monthly backups. And then you can specify the time of day that those backups are made. Now, generally, picking a time when your computer is off is not a good idea because it simply won't create the backup. So if you want to do that, make sure that you choose a time that the computer is actually running and that it is not going to impinge on anybody working on pressSIGN. That's my typical bit of advice in that situation. And here again, you can browse to a new area where you want to place the backups. And this then creates backups automatically for you. You don't have to get worried about manually creating a backup like we did in the earlier example. Okay. So if I were to then click on backup, I've made no changes, nothing different, but it just updates. I enter my password and there it is. So this is a great little icon to look at and make sure that you know where you are with pressSIGN, and the server monitor is definitely something that you should be looking at. Okay. I'm going to close that server monitor down. If you've got any comments, any questions, please leave them for me. If you'd like to leave a comment, you can leave a like if you're watching this video later on in the in YouTube. It would be great if you did leave a like or even subscribe, because as I say, I do create how-to videos quite regularly, so that's something for you to keep an eye on. Okay. So that's the first two sections of today's live. The third one, I would like to just show you one of the new features of pressSIGN 10.2. So we'll be going back to the pressSIGN dialog box just to show you how one of the new features works. And give me 1 second, I will try to make sure that it's all running properly for us. Okay, so thanks for the comments. That's great to see those comments coming in. And I will just switch back now to the pressSIGN window. Okay. So in pressSIGN, we have a new feature, and that feature comes under this single patches area here up in the top corner. Hopefully you'll see the icon just there. In fact, what I can potentially do is show you that icon. If I just drag over the icon, it's that single patches icon right under that red circle. That's really what I want you to be looking at. It's that button that we'll be clicking on. So if I click on that button, that takes us to a new window, and this single patches window is incredibly powerful, and it has quite a few little options and features. And one of those options, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a job. And forgive me for just choosing, I've got a test job here. This is quite good probably. So I'll just double click on that job and it will open the job for me. I don't need to see the job information, so I'm going to hide that. I'm going to do Control J. Do you see how that disappeared? I'll leave the other parts of the window open. Anyway, what we can now do is we can measure the, I'm just going to move myself as well. So let me just move this over that corner. That probably helps. Okay, I know I'm looking the wrong way, but I do apologise. I'll try and look that way. It's just the way the camera's set up. So over on the in this window, we have the ability to measure any color that's in the job. So remember that the job in pressSIGN is always defined. So pressSIGN always knows what colors it has to look for. So if you're doing a simple CMYK job, that's fine, because pressSIGN's already pre-programmed to work out CMYK, overprints, grey balance. All of those things kind of come naturally to pressSIGN. What doesn't come naturally, or does come naturally but you need to tell it, is which spot colour you are actually adding to the job. Because if pressSIGN is just going to be reading a reddish colour, how does it know that that red colour is a magenta yellow overprint versus a red spot colour? It really doesn't. We've got algorithms, of course, built in that mean that it looks for the nearest match, and that will certainly help it. But if I just, for instance, pick on a green, because you know that we can choose a green, so I'll just double click that, and this is telling me that we've got Pantone green here. But you might also know that green is available from a cyan and yellow overprint. So how does pressSIGN know that when you're measuring a single patch, whether it's the green, cyan, yellow overprint or a spot colour? Well, what we've got now is the ability to specifically target that colour. So I can tell pressSIGN that I want the measurements that I'm making to be specifically against that particular solid colour. So here you can measure the solid values of all of the colours that are specified in the job. So if I then tell pressSIGN that I'm only measuring against Pantone green, and I try to find this side, do you see this one here? This is a cyan yellow overprint. If I double click it, as if I'm measuring it with a spectrophotometer, so the same result would be if I was measuring with a spectrophotometer, pressSIGN tells me that I've got a 16.19 delta E. We know that that is because I've measured a cyan yellow overprint versus the specified Pantone green here. Okay, in the past, pressSIGN might have given you a huge delta E because it thought that you were measuring a cyan yellow overprint. But now we've got the ability to specify that. If you go back to automatic, then your readings will always be automated by pressSIGN, where it will then give you the closest match to what it's measuring, and make a very educated AI type of guess as to which patch you're trying to read. Is it a magenta yellow or is it a red overprint? So there's a variety of algorithms running in the background which help pressSIGN to do that. So just to show you one more time, we are on the single patches window and we are in the lab density area just here. Okay, so that is where we go to make all of these spot color measurements. Remember, if I go to job settings, this is where we specify the additional colors, the spot colors in the job. You click the printing unit, even if you don't have a printing unit. If you want to measure a spot color in pressSIGN, tell pressSIGN that you've got it by allocating that spot color to a unit. So I can click on that unit. I can choose my Pantone library. I've got custom libraries, of course, and all of the latest Pantone guides are in there with all of the latest colors. And then you choose your color from here. Okay, and that's a scrollable list. I will cancel out of that, but that's how you specify that you have a particular spot color in pressSIGN for it to give you results against. Okay, so that's more or less where we are. Thanks for attending. As I say, if you want to subscribe or ask any questions, thanks for your messages. I will try to answer any questions that have come up. I've got a question here that says, help me understand the measurement results. Thanks, David. I would, if we can get together, I'll try and answer those for you either offline or in the next meeting. It depends on which measurement results you're actually specifying, and it sounds like it might be quite a big topic. Because pressSIGN's measurement results are very wide, and of course within the software interface we can provide results for ISO, NPDC, G7 and spot color measurements as well, including obviously plate adjustments. Those kind of things are all catered for within pressSIGN. So maybe I need to understand exactly the kind of results. But thanks for leaving that comment and asking the question. Okay, so that's more or less it. I'm now going to wrap it up. I've been going for about 40 minutes now. I don't want to leave it too long. So thanks for attending, and contact me if you need to in the background. And let me just see if there is a way I can show you. So this is the YouTube address. You're probably there already, so that's absolutely fine. And if you need to contact Bodoni, then we are online at www.bodonina, BODONINA.com, and I can answer any questions that you might pose for me through that website. So thank you very much for everything, and I'll leave you with that. Thanks a lot and take care. Bye now.